Chet got to the free throw line 13 times. Seemed to have advantages throughout the night off the bounce.
Is that a career high?
Yeah.
Nice, good for him.
What did you see from him as an attacker and playmaker off the dribble?
He just did a really good job of like eating up space, and attacking space, finding like little seams in the defense. Especially come playoff time, like those are going to be opportunities that you really have to hunt. So I thought he did a good job of that, and when you're aggressive, basketball rewards you for that. So he did a really good job of that tonight, and just playing through contact too. There was a couple ones where he scored and had to play through contact, and when you do that over and over again, you get results like that where you can get to the free throw line 13 times, and then he went 12 for 13 too, so he was knocking them down.
What were you guys able to get to in the second half to turn the game around?
Defense. I thought AC was really good for us. He had 5 steals. That might be a typo. But yeah, I think AC kind of started us off just playing defense, getting back to our identity. We started off that third quarter like 13 out of 15 stops or something like that. So just being able to do that and hone into what makes us good, I think we did a really good job of that, and we were special 1 through 5 tonight.
Chet complimented your ability to run the offense, and coach as well said that you've completely changed as a player this season. And it seems like over the last 6 weeks you're really finding this groove offensively. How is your confidence continuing to grow as the postseason's right around the corner?
I'm trying to use a lot of these games as reps and treat them as close to the playoffs as I can, regardless of who we're playing. My coaches and just teammates allow me to go out there and just play. I think that always helps when a player can kind of play free, and that's been helping me. And I think, like I said before, just being aggressive, I think that takes up for any kind of mistakes that you're doing. I think when you make mistakes and you're timid, it makes it worse. So I just kind of go out there and do what I do and listen to the coaching and the advice that they're giving me and just go out there and try and work on it.
And with coach saying that you're a completely different player, where in your game do you think you've developed the most this season?
I would just say finding those seams, finding those holes in the defense to kind of attack, playing through contact. And as a result, I've been able to get to the free throw line a lot more. And I think just at the same time, like basketball's starting to slow down more and more. Obviously, the more reps you're in and the longer you're in the NBA, you just naturally get good at it.
Your coach. Oh, go ahead.
Once again, you guys play without guys tonight, starters out, and you still find a way to win, especially on the road. What is it about this team this year? It doesn't matter who's out there. More times than not, you're going to get that win.
We just have a lot of guys that are hungry for the opportunity. I think that's what makes our team so special is we just kind of relish in the fact that a next man up mentality is how we play. So everybody kind of looks at it as their way to shine. But I think we also do a really good job of playing within each other and playing as a team to make sure that everybody can shine, and that's when we're at our best.
What is it about playing in this building against your hometown team, including knocking them out of play and contention, that gives you that kind of vigor to play at this level?
I didn't really have any motivation playing here. I grew up a Laker fan, so I guess like this area is not really like special to me. I think growing up here is cool. I don't take it for granted for sure. There's been a lot of like camps that I used to do here, and like my mom used to take me to Mercury games all the time when the Sparks played. So it's cool to come back into this gym and be able to play there. So I definitely don't take that for granted. But I think I'm past motivation of playing here. I try and find like other ways to be motivated. And tonight, like Shea and Lou didn't play, and Queso didn't play. So just trying to find more motivation to like kind of will us to a W.
What is it about this youth movement with OKC that has driven you guys to where you are in the league?
Well, we're young, so we probably have just a ton of energy. So that has to do something with it. I think we're also maturing a lot faster than people realize or give us credit for. And we're just learning through the experiences as a team. So I think that's really unique and special.
You mentioned Alex's defensive night. What was your perspective?
Yeah, the fake 5 steals, yeah.
What was your perspective of his offensive night that he had tonight?
He was great. AC is just a really good vet. He's a special player for our team. I think everybody always talks about just how like a lot of his stuff may not come up in the box score, like getting over screens, calling the coverages out right, pumping us up when we're down, like just like stuff like that. Like that a lot of that goes unnoticed from the outside perspective, but it's something we notice and we definitely cherish for him. And then obviously tonight he was able to like fill up the stats a little more, so it was louder. So I'm happy for him, but he's ready to kind of do whatever it takes to win, and I think that's why he's such a special player.
We talked about a lot of energy with the youth that you have on this team. Is there extra motivation to go up against a team that's veteran group, like having Book and Beal leading that whole front?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's even a veteran group per se. I think it's just more like those are two elite players, so it's more like let's test ourselves and see where we are with them. So that's what we kind of been doing all year is no matter the matchup, we try and just pick out something and test ourselves with it. And then if it's like a team that's maybe not doing so well that this year, we just try and like find a different motivator to be good and play against ourselves ultimately. But when you have two guys like that, they can completely turn the tide of a basketball game. Like Book's had 70 in a game, so like Beal's had big scoring nights. So we always try and challenge ourselves up to that and see where we match up.
Anybody else?
Yeah, my last question about Sam Dwayne, your high school coach, was on the side, court side, watching you. He said you were the cultural standard bearer for Perry, which just won his fourth straight high school state tournament.
Yeah, I did not win any.
Yeah. So, what do you say to that? And which the guys that have come along, like your brother Cody, and of course Koa Pete, and all the guys that have come along and create that dynasty, starting with you, even though you didn't win any.
It's very special. It's something, I hate to say it again, but it's something that I just don't take for granted. Like I think about it a lot. I think having a younger brother that went there kind of put it into perspective there. I give Coach Dwayne, Coach Hartwig, Fauché, Coach Miner, all the coaches I had throughout high school there, a lot of credit. I think they prepared me even for like the NBA now without them even knowing just how to like carry myself as a man and just like learning how to like grow up and be organized and just like they just taught me a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with basketball. And they made my college transition easier and just kind of stuck with me even when I was like under recruited and just going through my whole high school process. And obviously Dwayne's the greatest coach to ever come out of here. He has so many rings and very knowledgeable. So it's cool that he says that about me, and that's kind of how I feel about him as well. And then obviously, they've had a ton of talent run through there. My brother being a first-round pick, a lottery pick, Koa Pete, obviously he's won 4 in a row. They had Dylan Anderson, they had myself. So it's always cool to like be a part of paving the way for that school, and I'm happy that he's done coaching now.
Anybody else?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dub.
Yeah.
You guys were just so disruptive right from the very outset. What'd you feel on the floor in terms of the way you guys really like squeezed up defensively?
I feel like the biggest thing was we really got back to our principles. You can play aggressive, but if you're not in your spots on the backside and communicating, a lot of times you end up giving up easy stuff. So second half, we really locked into being where we needed to be, talking to each other. And from there, things kind of took care of themselves.
You personally seemed like you were creating advantage after advantage off the bounce. What were you doing at a high level to be able to get your defender on your hip or get past guys?
Just trying to read the game, take what the game gave me, use the game to give me advantages. Not let the defense know exactly what I was doing, and then from there being aggressive and forceful, and forcing the defender's hand, I guess you could say.
I asked Dub this on the floor, but guys like Wiggins and Caruso, like a lot of different guys. There's sometimes more volume for them, but it just doesn't seem like anybody plays outside of their style. Why do you think you guys have been able to manage that?
The biggest thing is having one really good players. If you have a player who isn't good enough to ask them to do more, they're not going to look good when you ask them to do more. And, those are guys who can obviously do more. And, that's part of winning, being on a winning team, and really trusting each other, trusting that everybody's going out there to make the right plays. Everybody plays efficiently, to their strengths and the team's strengths. And, when you do it together, everybody looks good. At the end of the day, doesn't matter what you do out there. If you lose, nobody looks good. So everybody's all in on winning, no matter how we do it. Whether you have a low volume, low minutes night or high volume, high minutes night. Everybody's bought in on that.
Chad, a back-to-back for you. Are you getting to where you want to be now, physically and endurance?
I don't think I'll ever be where I want to be, because I always feel like I could be better. But, I'm definitely going in the right direction. That's probably the best I've felt on a back-to-back. I mean, this is only my second one, but I definitely felt a lot better than before on that. Definitely going in the right direction.
What opened up for you in the second half where you and Jalen to get out and run? Can you speak to about the defense that helped you guys get those opportunities?
Yeah, like you said, the biggest thing was defense. It's hard to get out and play with pace when you got to inbound the ball every time and the other team has a chance to get back and get set. When you get stops, you're able to get steals. You're able to get numbers advantages. Same thing when you're able to rebound and kick ahead. You have numbers advantages, and then you're not playing against set defense. You're not playing against loads. You're playing with advantages, and then it's just about playing with pace, making the right reads, and being aggressive. And in the second half, we did a great job of that. All year we've leaned on our defense. Initiating our offense, and in the second half, that's what we got back to.
Coach says that Jaden's a completely different player from the beginning of the season. Where in his game do you think he's really taken the biggest strides?
There's a long list of things I could say. He's just steadily improved at everything that he was already really good at on the defensive end. Being able to pretty much handle any assignment he's asked to do, whoever he's asked to guard, whatever coverage he's asked to execute. He's improved over time doing that, and he was already at a high level before. And then same thing on the offensive end. His ability to create space and get a shot off and then make those shots has just continued to improve. He was already really good at it, and he's gotten even better. And I think one of the big areas that nobody really touches on is kind of his ability to run the offense, even if it's not facilitating for others. It's being able to pick his spots against set defenses and read how to get to those. He's done a really good job of that.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chip.
Time Caruso had a stretch where I think he had 3 or 4 steals in the matter of 2.5 minutes or something like that. And I just wonder what maybe we didn't see, behind the scenes, if anything, just about maybe the attention to detail or focus that you were noticing on the floor and coming out of the halftime locker room.
Yeah, I thought in the first half of the game they had 67 points. Beal and Booker, I think, had 25. They had shot attempts. They had 10 assists between them. Booker had 8 at halftime. So, they were making every play for that team, and they were really starting to drink. And so we went into halftime wanting to be a little more impactful on the ball, and then certainly more impactful in the help, knowing that we were going to be pressuring those guys. And I thought our execution of that was excellent. Alex shut off his instincts in that stretch, but the whole 5-man unit to start the third especially got us off to a great start.
We have talked recently about sort of threading the needle of this is a team that's, trying to attack every single night a certain way and yet developing. But we're also seeing in games like tonight where you have some guys out, this needle you seem to be able to thread where guys maybe are taking on more volume, but they're not playing a different brand individually. What goes into collectively the team being able to do that?
Well, first thing is, clear definition on a player's game and style and strengths, and them feeling like we're empowering them to play to those strengths, but also them not feeling like they have to do more than that. Even on a night like tonight where we're down some guys, that's when the strength of the unit and the system has to show up, and I thought we did that. I thought we got great production from a lot of guys, but very much in character.
What did you see from Dub tonight being in that leadership role this evening?
I didn't see much different from him. I thought he played his normal game. He had a really, really solid blend and floor game. He was very impactful defensively. He was guarding Beal and Booker on a lot of possessions. And offensively, he just was in a really, really good rhythm. But a good blend. He moved it appropriately and got his teammates involved. He played a really good game.
Tonight's another example of things in the first half didn't go great, and then you quickly turned the corner there in the third quarter with a different set of guys tonight. That normally don't start.
Yeah, no, they did a great job. You know, it was a compete together unit out there on both ends, especially on defense. We were able to convert our defense into offense. Got out on the break, got to the bonus early, which was big for us in the third quarter. Chet, shot 13 free throws tonight, which is a great number for him and us. And some of that was the bonus. So, those guys really started the third. They set a great tone in the second half.
And then Jay Will, comes in and didn't miss a beat with the threes.
Yeah, he's been out. It's good to see him. It's good to have him back, first of all, and great competitiveness. He's always in the fight on both ends of the floor. I thought he was a little out of rhythm right off the bat, but then he caught his stride and then made some big shots. The 2 threes he hit in the fourth quarter especially were daggers.
It may not mean anything right now. This is probably the cart getting ahead of the horse, but you have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Does that mean anything?
We obviously would like to, have home court advantage in any circumstance, but when we go to the playoffs, you start at 0-0 and you have to play and win your first series, and that'll be our focus when we get there. But we want to try to win as many games as we can. We'd like to have home court advantage rather than not. But it wasn't a focal point for us. We're trying to improve. We're trying to compete, and I thought the guys did that tonight.
Building off of J-Dub, it seems like over the last 6 weeks, he's really found his groove scoring the ball. Where have you seen his confidence just evolve and continue to grow with the postseason right around the corner?
He's had a really good stretch, and he's had some games, very loud games, and has played really well. I think he's, quietly improved. I think when we think of players improving, we think of like younger players or raw players or players that are physically like underdeveloped, but he's still a young player. He's still only in his third season. He's still improving. And he's a completely different player than he was at the beginning of the season. And a lot of the investments he made early in the season and even into the summer, the force he's played with, the pull-up threes, increasing his three-point volume, all that stuff seems to be coming together for him right now. And I'm happy for him because he's put the work in and he's stuck with it.
You knew that you were going to get Phoenix's best shot tonight pretty much with their backs against the wall. What did you think about your team's ability to overcome that deficit in the first half?
Yeah, Phoenix was ready to play tonight, and they wanted the game, and they were the sharper team for much of the first half. And I thought the group in the second quarter to close the half really stabilized the game for us to be able to get that thing to 5 at halftime with where we were and kind of how we were playing and how they were playing was important for us. Obviously, the run in the third is what gave us the lead and stretched the lead, but the silent part of the game that was very important was being able to stabilize a game that you could easily go down 20 or 25 with the way they were playing and how hard they were going.
Were you able to get a Nick Gallo t-shirt after the game?
There's Nick Gallo t-shirts.
There was. They gave them to him.
As there should be, I guess, right?
What was actually the advantage that you had in the second half with the length that Phoenix tried to use with Oso, and they basically had their runs with that in the first half?
He's a good player. He's improved. They've done a nice job of player development with him and Dunn specifically, and obviously they've gotten great stuff out of Gillespie this year as well. But he's a solid, reliable player. He's really switchable. In the first half, I thought their switching bogged us down a little bit, and a lot of that's his ability to kind of contain the ball. We didn't get a lot of advantages against him. So he's had a really good rookie year. He's turned himself into a very productive and impactful player. Same with Dunn. And so the future's bright for those two guys.
How do you think your youth movement has set the standard for the rest of the league?
I don't know. We're just trying to, run our race. We're trying to be the best we can be. We believe in our players, but a lot of it comes down to, I don't look at the guys as, in terms of their age. They're great competitors, they're great people, they're great workers, and they want to be a part of the team, and you can do that at any age, and these guys do it regardless of what age they are.
Anybody else?
Yep, thanks.
That was good.